First off, I'd like to welcome everyone to the very first inaugural episode of The Dale Privilege. Let's just see how this goes. I'm not perfect, even though I like to say I am, but, this is episode 1, and let's just work out the kinks as we go on. First off, obviously, this is about a drone. The drone cast, this will be, and the problems that follow lately with the Canadian government. In a world where the Canadians now have stricter laws than the Americans, crazy as it might seem to a Canadian itself. As a novice at that drone user who's just got into the hobby as known as RC copters and drones and whatnot. And I find these rules completely outrageous, and developed and made by someone who probably hasn't even been near or held a drone. So as far as these rules go, like, let me just pull them up right here. I have a couple. I'm not going to list them all. I'm going to list the obscene ones, obviously, and maybe the obvious one right here. It's clearly made by Joy Kill, Buzz Killer, Buzz Killington at that, from the government. No more than 90 meters above the ground. Do you have a tape measure? I mean, I can see on my drone thing, but are you going to call me out for being more than 90? No, that's not going to happen. More than 75 meters away from a building, vehicle, or people, or animal. I live in a city. This isn't going to happen. This is barely impossible to happen. Do you want me to go to the middle of butt-fuck nowhere in a cornfield to fly my drone? It's impossible. It's not going to happen. I'm near everything at some point. There's people everywhere. How can I accommodate for an animal near me? You know what I mean? Like, I go to a park, it's impossible to do. More than 9 kilometers away from airport. This is the most common sense rule of them all, and I believe that should stay. And if you're flying near airport, not only is you're lacking sense and logic, you're an asshole. You should not be flying near an airport. You should not even be near an airport. You should be aware of the airspace and near it, and this rule wouldn't have come about. But that's the only rule that I believe that has triggered the other ones through flying near an airport. And for all the people who have, you're an asshole once again. At night or in the clouds. Let's be honest. It's cool to fly at night to get a nice scene view of downtown, whatever, or wherever you're near, get the lights and whatnot. And once again, how are you going to find a drone that's flying at night? Sure, it has blinky lights on it, but at the same time, you're not. That thing's going to be on the ground by the time the cops show up. Which leads me to another thing is, this is the most outrageous thing of all. You want me to put my name and phone number on it so that if it does get lost, you can probably call the cops, or the cops will find it, and I will get charged for whatever, which is a $3,000 fine for some of these rules, if not all. And right there is the most outrageous thing of it all, because it actually is more than the Americans. The Americans, this is almost a 60% more of a fine based on, even with the dollar conversion, it's 60% more of a fine. $3,000 if you get 90 meters above the ground. How crazy is that? Now, another rule that I should say, I'm basically a blind man. And to keep a drone in sight is very hard to do. I rely on the camera and my phone. Alright? So, to say that I have to keep in sight of it is your word against mine. I can easily just lie and say that, which is anything. And to say all these rules and all these, how are you going to follow them? How are you going to follow all these rules? Well, the Transport Canada has issued to just call 911, an emergency hotline for people who are getting shot at, getting stabbed, need medical emergency attention. And you want to clog up that hotline with a drone in the sky. That doesn't make any sense. That's obscene and absurd and a waste of time, okay? A 911 responder has better things to do and better calls to answer than someone saying there's a drone. But if you're a business, do not worry about this, because somehow you are exempt from every rule that has been listed, I assume, other than the airport. And if you're a real estate broker trying to get a view of a house that you were trying to sell, or maybe if you're Amazon or the UPS thing that we all know have just seen, and it's one of those things where, sure, businesses are exempt, but is that fair? Is that really fair for the common man to be in a park and can't fly his drone the way he wants to fly, but yet Amazon can shoot packages around in the next couple of years wherever they well please, other than maybe the airspace, near an airport? Transport Canada, I do have some advice for you. And you should be worrying about less about these things and more about the people that have a phone next to their ear while they're driving a car at all times, when there's multiple ways to answer a phone and a phone call without even picking your phone up. Our Liberal government and our so-called pretty Prime Minister making it a very hard time for senior citizens, veterans, pro-pipeline people, anti-pipeline people, First Nations, firearm owners, and now sadly drone owners itself. Way to be a killjoy, Mr. Justin Trudeau and his party and his co-conspirators. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of The Dale Privilege. This isn't just a rant and a rave, this is a conversation. Topics and whatnot will be very welcome in the comments below. Let's talk about things. Let's enjoy this. Let's have a discussion. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. This is Dale. Peace.